Hey guys, this is Rurouni K95 here. Today's movie review, which is something I'm gonna do, which I would really know that I wanted to do for honor of these movies that I forgot that I should have done as a revisiting type of movie review video, which is today something I want to start reviewing on one of the Kevin Smith movies. For the first time here is Clerks for today's movie review. So, the movie Clerks was released back in October 19th, 1994, which is basically within the same year we had Gargoyles TV series from Disney. Clerks has got the attention the most, although this movie was directed by Kevin Smith, and it's basically the primary of how the movie Clerks has become a cult classic, especially for a movie has received a cult following, what Miramax had a lot to do for. Because I know there's some other ones, like there's Clerks 2, and there's other ones where Jay and Silent Bob appeared, like Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, and also, there's other ones, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. But maybe I'll cover Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which we'll be doing that at this point. So today, we're going to be reviewing something which has almost been years I wanted to cover, which I'm going to go in depth of how I'm learning about this for today's movie review, is none other than Clerks. The story and the plot about the movie Clerks is about Dante, who is working at a convenience store called Quick Stop, and then you have Randall, who is working at a video store called RST Video, which is next door to Quick Stop. They are friends, and they hang out instead of working as always. That's what they wanted to do, especially what Dante and Randall had a lot to do, because that's what they always had a lot to do for, especially of what you see in that one. As always, when they prepare for another day immersed in these types of the customer service jobs, like what Dante has repeatedly having these types of jobs in Lemonades, which he is not even supposed to be here today, in these philosophical discussions on how they have type of variety of topics which they talk about, of what they were talking about, including all these types such as movies, sex, relationships, and even customers who are being difficult, even in some of the types of customers encountering during the day, are always getting angry and demanding others in a clueless, not in a good way. How his politeness when the others are always proving unexpectedly when his every several hours, so Dante discovers that his boss has left on a trip to Vermont, leaving him to run the store alone, of how he can handle everything under control, as how it seems of how this goes, because I bet Dante's boss, who is working at a Quick Stop, wanted to go be on a trip in Vermont, because especially when he has a day off from work, or when he's having a vacation of what he's been planning for during his week off from work, especially what Dante's boss had a lot to do for, especially of how these decisions go in Clerks, as how it goes as well. Well, you get the picture, though, as well. And that went on as well. When Randall tried to find a number of reasons to leave the store and a slack off on a rooftop at the Quick Stop convenience store, when they always wanted to play hockey with one of Dante's friends, because one of Dante's friends were invited to play hockey that they are on top of the quick stop, though, because despite how this goes as well, you get ested as well. One of them has appeared to be an ill-fated wake for one of Dante's ex-lovers. So Dante is torn between every two women, such as his current girlfriend named Veronica Laufran and his ex-girlfriend named Caitlin Bree, which he still always has secretly communicates when Dante's distress of how he learned Veronica has given oral sex with 236 other men before Dante in the process of how when it's engaging in a snowballing with at least one despite Veronica's doting on him, which Dante has to choose to rekindle his relationship with Caitlin, and how whenever Caitlin is always traumatized by an incident at a quick stop bathroom in the dark because she had sex with a person where she thinks it was Dante, but it wasn't Dante. But it was a customer who has died of a heart attack while masturbating to a pornographic magazine, which causes Dante to provide him. So Caitlin leaves Countatonic in an ambulance after she was in the quick stop. Things just don't go quite well of how this happened in Clerks as well. By this time, of course, we get to see Jay and Silent Bob, who are played by Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith. Oh, by the way, Kevin Smith also directed this movie as well. They are a pair of drug dealers who always spent the day loitering outside the store as their hangout. When they invited Dante to a party with them, these types of hours, but Dante had to decline considering there's some various types of characters that they're to have always been attracting all day, aware of Dante's problems. When Silent Bob terrestrially told Dante to convince Dante is that he really loves Veronica because Silent Bob said that there's some fine-looking women out there in the world, because most of them never brought lasagna at work. Most of them just cheat on Dante, as what Silent Bob had a lot to know about this when he spoke rarely as well. Is how it goes. So Randall always has to confess that the previous events of prompting Veronica to dramatically dump on which causes Dante to fight with Randall, trashing up the quick stop of what they did of how this goes. So by this time, of course, Dante and Randall have a crucial moment on these types of clarity after their fight in the quick stop, when Randall hears Dante repeat of his refrain that he's not even supposed to be here at Quick Stop, even if he left for the night. He pointed out that Dante could have left any time for these types of previous events of her, which had gone to Dante and Randall, which has gotten to a point, though, as them for the more he said that they are not advanced, which they are wanted to think of who they are if they could have not been stuck in such a lovely jobs in the process. By this time, as it goes, to make always a man ends which Dante plans to visit Caitlin in the hospital, when they wanted to reek and style with Veronica, when Randall leaves before not tossing Dante's shoe polish sign on his face, when he declared, "You're closed," as of how this works. So that's my story of how Clerks is about. I mean, the story was great. I mean, the humor was hilarious, though. I mean, despite, though, this is basically an independent indie comedy film. Yeah, because, Kevin Smith worked very hard on the Clerks movie when he was taking out $297,000 of his debit card, though, of how he wanted to make a movie for the first time. And Despite though that the movie Clerks was not filmed in color, unlike the other Kevin Smith movies that are Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, and Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which they are basically in Clerks 2, which is in color. But to be fair, though, this movie was filmed in black and white, though. I mean, the acting was good, though. Some of them may like the acting, some of them didn't care for the acting, but I always thought the acting was pretty good, though, in Clerks. Very well, because it's gotten to a point, though, of how Clerks has a lot to do, basically, for this movie in its own particular way. And this movie has, how it became infamous is how, you know, that they filmed this in New Jersey, is how, you know, Quick Stop is right next door to RST Video, which is the video store Randall works at, is how they wanted to, how they made this movie on there, especially for what Kevin Smith wanted to work on in this movie, as how this goes. And on top of all this, of how the movie goes, of course, of how you want to expect is how you wanted to know of how this movie has become an infamous for a cult film. Not necessarily old movies, no. It's one of those movies that receiving a cult following, especially for fans of the movie as well, particularly. Well, the story is good, the acting is good as well. I mean, the characters, though, we all know the characters that are being introduced, that some of them may appear, you know, like, you know, Dante and Randall appeared, I think, in Clerks 2 as well, which we'll get to later on at that point, though. Because, well, for Jay and Silent Bob, though, they first appeared in Clerks, which made them appear again in Mallrats. Well, because Dante and Randall never appeared in Mallrats, though, because that's basically how it's different of how, as opposed to these movies, though. Well, Dante and Randall appeared in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. By the way, I still have my DVD of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. If I can do a review on that, maybe tomorrow I'll do it. So, for the thing about Clerks is that this movie has become an infamous as well, from what I understand as well, because Clerks is basically the greatest example of 90s movies from independent movie directors, of how they made it big and very infamous, of how they wanted to make something better, something good for a change, especially for what Clerks had a lot for this movie, though. And on top of this, Clerks is basically how it's becoming that is infamous, especially of how you wanted to know, because, you know, Clerks takes place in New Jersey, though, as well. Yep, like how it works, as it seems, as well. Yeah, because Clerks, on the other hand, is that it was basically how, I mean, the music, how, like Berserker and the Clerks theme song, you know, the just save up all your nickels and dimes, yeah, which you hear in the movie Clerks, especially what Dante works at a Quick Stop, Randall works at RST Video, because, you know, my favorite part in Clerks is where Randall said to that lady who at that video store, when she's not even renting, because he said, "Are these movies any good?" And he's like, "I don't watch movies." I thought, yeah, because that's what he's like. And then she's like, "That is the last time I'll ever be renting from here." And then Randall said to that lady who is in that video store, "You will be missed." And she's like, "Screw you." And then Randall comes out and he yells, "Hey, you're not allowed to rent here anymore." And Jay and Silent Bob are like, "Yeah," because they roasted that lady who's not allowed to rent at RST Video. That's why. Because I think she got insulted by Randall, and then Jay and Silent Bob heard it as well. Yep, I was right, because she's not allowed to rent at that video store, which is RST Video. Yep, because I was right. Especially of how what Clerks has the humor and all, especially in these types of characters' personality, because I love the part where they were going into various types of topics as well. Yeah, the original Star Wars trilogy, like every movie from one of them, are mentioned in this movie. What Clerks has a lot to do, especially what the discussion for what Dante and Randall had a lot to do for as well. Yeah, the humor is good. The music is very good, very suburb though. I thought it was very perfect for a movie like Clerks as well. And on top of this, for overall, my score for the enjoyment of this movie, it's been a while since I've watched this on Blu-ray that I've seen from the library though. This was the first experience I have when I started getting into know on every movies that it got me interested in the world of Kevin Smith, though. Because even though Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes are pretty great, though, because I really dug the Jay and Silent Bob movies and the Clerks movies. That's why as well. Because that's why I wanted to check out all the other movies, which I'll be cover for at this point after I review Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Clerks 2, which I got them planned as well. But the other ones like Mallrats and Chasing Amy and Dogma and Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, I will cover those at one point as well. Maybe, but that's for the most part, though. My score for the enjoyment on there, if you haven't seen Clerks, give this a watch. I highly recommend if you want to see this movie, though, because I thought Clerks is my favorite, because I thought it was pretty hilarious. Because this is the first time I wanted to get introduced to, the Jay and Silent Bob movies, though, because Clerks is my first one I'm going to start off with, of how you want to expect. And that's how they have worked very hard on this one. And not to mention, there is also the Clerks animated series, featuring the actors from Clerks movies that are also in the Clerks animated series. Which I don't think I have ever seen the Clerks animated series, but I've heard about it. But I thought the Clerks movies are pretty good, though. Especially almost to the extent to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Which I thought Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was hilarious, though. My score for this movie, a 10. I'm going to give it a 10 for Clerks, because this is a great movie. Because I think it's way better than Material Girls, Cowbells, From Prada to Nada, and the Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer's garbage movies, and other bad movies, included the Emoji Movie, and as well. Because if you haven't seen Clerks, check it out. Because it's a hilarious comedy from Kevin Smith, though. Because this is the first time I wanted to go into full in-depths of how I'm considered, how I wanted to put Clerks in its side category of what it made it a cult favorite in the 90s as well. Just considered how Miramax messed with Jay and Silent Bob in the movie Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which I'll review next as well for tomorrow's movie review, though. So that's going to be it for my movie review on Clerks for today, you guys. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's what I'm going to say for this one. Well, because I wanted to do a review on this, and I want to make it longer, I'm going to go into full in-depths of this movie, though, because I have Power Director app on my phone, though, because I wanted to make this video longer, though, because this is the first time I'm doing a video like this as well. come to think of it, I wanted to discuss about Clerks, because I want to go in depth and giving in some full details and mentioning other movies on there included, because, well, why not? Clerks is the best example of how the 90s comedy movies, of how it goes, because especially the ones that take the cake, though. Hope to subscribe for content. My Anime Planet link in the description down below. You can share this video on your Twitter, Facebook. If you have Twitter and Facebook account, all social media, smack the like button if you enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave in the comments section below in this video if you like as well. And also, be sure to subscribe to my channel, RuRoniK95. Feel free to join my channel, especially if you're new to my channel as a newcomer. Smack the notifications bell button. Be sure to get notified as well. This is RuRoniK95 saying thank you for watching my movie review on Clerks. I hope you like this video, and I hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you soon for the next video. Hope you have a great day. This is RuRoniK95 signing off. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you soon for more videos. And stay tuned for my tomorrow's movie review on Jan Silent Bob Strike Back.